sound asleep and too afraid of what might show up while you're dreaming. Nobody sees you. Nobody will believe you. And every day you try to pick up all the pieces, all the memories that somehow never leave you. Nobody sees you. Nobody will believe you. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. 'Cause there's a kind of love that God only knows. There's a kind of love, there's a kind of love. You keep a cover over every single secret, so afraid if someone saw them they would leave. But somebody sees you. Somebody will never leave you. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. 'Cause there's a kind of love that God only knows. There's a kind of love, there's a kind of love. God only knows. There's a kind of love, there's a kind of love. For the lonely, for the ashamed, the misunderstood and the ones to blame. What if we could start over? We could start over. We could start over. Oh, for the lonely, for the ashamed, the misunderstood and the ones to blame. What if we could start over? We could start over. We could start over. 'Cause there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what to say about you. But God only knows the real you. 'Cause there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what to say about you. But God only knows the real you. 'Cause there's a kind of love that God only knows. There's a kind of love, there's a kind of love. God only knows. There's a kind of love, there's a kind of love. God only knows where to find you. God only knows how to break through. God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows.
Kiss me hard before you go. Summertime sadness. I just wanted you to know that baby, you're the best. I got my red dress on tonight, dancing in the dark in the pale moonlight. Done my hair up real big, beauty queen style. High heels off, I'm feeling alive. Oh my God, I feel it in the air, telephone wires above, I'm sizzling like a snare. Honey, I'm on fire, I feel it everywhere. Nothing scares me down the coast, going about 99. Got my bad baby by my heavenly side. I know if I go, I'll die happy tonight. Oh my God, I feel it in the air, telephone wires above, all sizzling like a snare. Honey, I'm on fire, I feel it everywhere. Nothing scares me anymore. Kiss me all before you go. Summertime sadness. I just wanted you to know, baby. I got that summertime, summertime sadness. Summertime, summertime sadness. Got that summertime, summertime sadness. Think I'll miss you forever, like the stars miss the sun in the morning sky. Wait is better than never. Even if you're gone, I'm gonna try. I got that summertime, summertime sadness. Summertime, summertime sadness. Got that summertime, summertime sadness. Oh. Kiss me all before you go. Summertime sadness. I just wanted you to know, baby. I got that summertime, summertime sadness. Summertime, summertime sadness. Got that summertime, summertime sadness.
I mean, are we just like bored, spoiled children who've just been lying in the bathtub all day, just playing with their plastic duck, and now they're just thinking, well, what can I do?
Okay, yes. We're bored. We're all bored now. But has it ever occurred to you, Wally, that the process that creates this boredom that we see in the world now may very well be a self-perpetuating, unconscious form of brainwashing created by a world totalitarian government based on money, and that all of this is much more dangerous than one thinks, and it's not just a question of individual survival, Wally, but that somebody who's bored is asleep, and somebody who's asleep will not say no?
All right, chat. How we doing? How's everybody doing tonight? Oh, Lordy. Some good news to start the show. Sheila Jackson died. There we go. Yeah, that's right, chat. Can I get some crabs in the chat? Some S's to spit on her grave? That's right. Rotten hell, Sheila Jackson. Because, you know, we do live in a country where you're allowed to wish harm upon you. You're not allowed to actually do harm upon our elected officials. But you are allowed to wish harm. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. That's actually okay. You may disagree. Maybe you're a big Sheila Jackson fan. I doubt I have a lot of those in the chat right now. But it's okay. Because treating our elected officials like dirt is every American's God-given right. And we will get into that. Oh, shit. This has been a week of some black pills for me. And this has been a week of some white pills for me. I am like one-hit wonder Natalie Imbruglia torn. Because I've seen some shit this week where it's like, oh, we're all fucked. Burn it to the ground. I don't care anymore. And then I've seen some shit this week that just uplifted my soul. And I need to flip a coin like fucking Two-Face because I do not know where I'm at right now mentally. Oh. So, obviously, and we talked about it, there was a little incident involving former President Trump, in which, through what I would argue is divine intervention, he was not killed by a bullet that blew his ear off. Turned his head a half second before. Good Lord. And there were some people who expressed the opinion that they had wished he hadn't turned his head. Which you're allowed to do. You're allowed to do it, chat. In a free society, you're allowed to do it. For example, Tenacious D. The other guy from Tenacious D. What's his name? I don't remember. No one does. But the other guy from Tenacious D on stage was like, I wish the guy didn't miss Trump. And Jack Black was all like, skibbity bobbity doo. And then the next day, Jack Black realized, oh wait, I actually, I read the room after the fact and realized that I like my Bowser and Kung Fu Panda money, and have decided that I'm going to throw my best friend of my whole life under the bus. Which personally I wouldn't do, chat. I wouldn't do. If I already had fuck you money and my best friend got us in trouble because he was running his mouth, I'd be like, whatever, he doesn't speak for me, but he's my best friend. I stand by him. But that's not what Jack Black did. He threw other guy, whatever his name was, under the bus, because that's how they roll. Which I think is more bitch made. I think the apology is gayer than any of the comments, personally. And then everybody decided, hey, I got an idea. What if we just looked up like random fat liberal bitches, random fucking soy boys, just rage posting on Facebook, and we just ruin their lives? Because the left used to do it, right? And it's fun, so we're gonna do that. Hey, we'll find some fucking fat bitch who said that she wished Trump had died, and she works at minimum wage at Home Depot, and we're gonna fired from Home Depot, because that accomplishes a lot. Now, personally, chat, I think it's fucking gay to go to someone's job because they hurt your feelings on the internet. I think that shit's gay. I thought that shit was gay, and dare I say it, even wrong, when the left did it. And shockingly, I still think it's gay and wrong when conservatives do it. I know. Some of y'all only have a friend-enemy distinction, and that's the height of your fucking moral code. Me, I'd like to think I've crawled out of the muck a little bit, and I'm not quite an animal anymore. I'd like to think my ancestors clawed their way out of that for a good reason. I have a fucking soul. Though that's not even a good analogy, because animals have a fucking soul, in my opinion. But you get the point. I'm capable of fucking understanding objective morality. Maybe I don't always get it right, but I'm capable of understanding that it's a thing that fucking exists. And wrong is wrong regardless of who's doing it. I know, shocking. And look, I don't have any sympathy for the lefties getting fucking canceled. Don't misunderstand me. Okay? Two things can be right. Let's take Destiny, for example. I don't think Destiny should be getting completely deplatformed. And I think all these people who right now are acting like, oh my god, Destiny is terrible, I won't associate him with him, when Destiny was always terrible, it's just now the heat is up. I think they're all fucking hypocrites. And I don't think you should be thrown off any fucking platform. He didn't say anything illegal. At least that I saw. If he did, that's a different thing. But just wishing harm and being a shithead isn't illegal. And I don't think you should be thrown off any platforms. All that said, Destiny is a piece of shit, and when bad things happen to him, I laugh. Both of those things can be funny, or can be true. It can be funny and still wrong. I thought it was funny when Nick Fuentes got deplatformed. I didn't support it. I just thought it was funny because fuck Nick Fuentes. That's a position I can have. All right? But I'm not going to be like, well, it was bad when it happened to X, but good when it happened to Y. That's not how shit works. That's not how objective morality works. And I especially shouldn't be hearing this shit from self-professed Christians, by the way. Oh, you trads and shit like that. I really shouldn't be hearing it from you. So yeah, you know that video where the guy goes and harasses the fat fucking liberal bitch at Home Depot where their job gets her fired. And he goes all like, I'm a veteran. By the way, fuck everybody who wears I'm a veteran on their fucking sleeve. Get fucked. I'm a veteran. Okay, cool. You murdered people for the government for $30K a year. Whoopie jack shit. What does that have to do with anything? So no, like, giving all this power to libs of TikTok. Oh yeah, libs of TikTok is canceling people. Remember a couple weeks ago, libs of TikTok was canceling you if you criticized Israel? Maybe you don't want that fucking Yenta in charge of shit. And anytime right now you express, hey, I actually have consistent fucking values, you get jumped on by these people. Oh, you're a cuck. Oh, you're cucking. Oh, you're a pussy. This is war. War never changes. War isn't about getting people fired at the Home Depot, okay? They started it like we're on the fucking playground. It's wrong. Period. And you know, I shouldn't be surprised. Why am I surprised? Why am I even surprised enough to be disappointed? I'm old enough to remember what the right really fucking is. I'm old enough to remember that they don't believe in free speech. They never fucking did. The right gave us the Patriot Act, all right? The right burned Harry Potter books and called Pokemon the devil. The right was never on the side of freedom. They pretended to be when they were out of power. Just like the left pretends to be when they're out of power. They're both shitty like that. So no, the past week has done a lot to remind me of why I'm not a fucking conservative, why I don't call myself right-wing, despite the fact that I have many surface-level things in common with them. Because no, they don't believe in freedom. They never did. And you see some of them out there on Twitter and whatnot outright saying it. Yeah, freedom of speech is bad, actually, because your enemies can say things. Cool. Thank you, fucking Destiny, because that's what you sound like. This mask off shit from the right has been a bit of a black pill for me. Because I was never really fooled, but I guess I thought maybe they learned a fucking lesson. And boo on me for thinking that. How dare I think that? I should know better. I've lived long enough. I know better. But here we are. So we're going to... And by the way, all of you saying that, well, you just don't want to win. It's about winning. First of all, I thought free speech was one of those things we were fighting for. So I don't know what we're winning. But you're also not winning, okay? Because you're not doing this against anybody with power. Here's the thing. Morality aside, a little bit of this, from a purely strategic standpoint, is effective. Like, canceling Destiny is effective because it's one guy you're depersoning, you're deplatforming. He's enough of a piece of shit, few people will feel sympathy for him, and he has a reach to make it worth actually doing it. Still wrong, I would argue, but there's at least a strategic value in doing it, if you separate the morality from it. But firing Karen from Home Depot, all that creates is one more angry unemployed person. And did that work out really well for the left when they did that a whole bunch to normal fucking people? It really didn't. Creating a bunch of unemployed people who are angry at you is actually a bad political strategy. Just the morality of it. It's wrong. Again, I will reiterate, it is wrong. It was wrong then. It remains wrong now. You're not winning anything. And here's the other thing. All you that are running around cheering on libs at TikTok and all this other shit, be fucking honest with yourself. At least do that. At least be fucking honest with yourself and say, hey, this is fun. Because that's why you're doing it. It's not to win a culture war. No, it's fun. Because you know what? It allows you to be cruel and vicious while feeling smug and self-righteous about it. That is what you're doing. That's why the left did it. That's why you're doing it. Because it feels good and it's fun. Like smoking crack. It feels good and it's fun. I mean, I haven't personally, but I have to assume, based on from what I've heard, it feels good and it's fun.
Have you heard of Jesus?
And that's why people do it. Dusker for $7 says, the problem isn't the action, it's the target. Let's be honest, we all joke about helicopter rides for journos. But these are the people that, if canceled in the legal way, we should all laugh at, not some boomer tard. Look, again, I don't think silencing people is morally right, but there's at least a strategic value in doing it to certain targets. But again, see, doing it to certain targets is hard. Doing it to Linda at Home Depot is easy. And be fucking honest with yourself. It's fun. You're doing it because it's fun. Alright? Telling me you're doing it because I'm doing it to win a culture war for white babies and Jesus. No, that's like telling me you're doing coke because you like the smell of it. No, it's fun. It's giving you a high that you are chasing. Be fucking honest with yourself. Because you know what? There is a point where it's like, look, I understand sometimes situations call for getting your hands dirty and doing things that you wouldn't otherwise do. I get that. But there does come a point when you're like, nah, I'm not doing that. Well, what about survival? What about survival? I made my peace with God. There does come a point where it's like, I want to look in the fucking mirror. You know, I'm going to die one way or another eventually. Okay? I'm 41 years old. Maybe I got another 50, maybe even 60 fucking years in me. Or maybe I got less than 50 fucking minutes. I don't know. But one way or another, I'm going to die. Even if they keep me alive like a head in a jar, like Futurama, eventually that head will die. You know, eventually the sun will explode and that head will be incinerated. It doesn't matter how long. Eventually I'll fucking die. And then I'll stand before my maker. Alright? So you know what? I'd rather die with my soul. And again, what are we fucking fighting for if we're not fighting for free speech? Isn't that part of the point? What exactly am I fighting for if I'm not fighting for free speech? Because there's not a lot on the right I feel the need to fight for. I don't give a shit about white babies, and I don't give a shit about whatever theocracy that Nick Fuentes fans beat their little puds to. I want fucking freedom. And you don't fight for your freedom by killing your freedom. That's like that retarded-ass Patriot Act war on terror logic. They hate us for our freedom, so we'll just create the largest surveillance state the world has ever seen, because that'll protect our freedom. No, it won't. It won't. And again, this isn't even feeling sympathy for them. I can find it funny. You know, if I was talking to Fat Karen from Home Depot, I would simply say, how's it taste, motherfucker? But I'm not talking to her, am I? I don't think there's a lot of her in my fucking audience. I don't think even if this audience was large, if I had 100 times the audience, 1,000 times the audience, there probably still wouldn't be many fucking Karen from Home Depots in the audience. Do you want libs of TikTok to have more power to cancel people? Is that what you want? You think that won't bite you in the ass? It's a Patriot Act all over again. That's always the fucking mentality of the right. Hey, I got an idea. Let's do the Patriot Act. Let's do some dumb fucking bullshit. Some dumb authoritarian bullshit that will, not maybe, will bite us in the ass. Because all you're doing now is further normalizing the cancel culture. You know, take the ring and throw it in the fucking fire, Frodo. No, you want to use it. That ain't going to work out for you. Ain't going to work out for any of us. So that's been my black pill for the week. Just remembering how much I'm not on the right. Remembering that while I might find myself shooting at the same target as the right, I'm not on the right. But my white pill for the week has been the fact that the Republican convention kicked fucking ass. And actually got me a little bit hopeful that maybe the right kind of people are taking over that fucking party. Because what I saw in the past week, I watched the speech from Tucker. I watched the fucking Hulk Hogan speech. I watched most of the Trump speech. I watched a few of the other speeches. I think I saw the clip of his fucking little jailbait fucking 17-year-old granddaughter up there. I saw a convention that was not a Republican convention. I saw the Republicans in that convention miserable. There's a picture getting thrown around. Lindsey Graham and Rupert Murdoch sitting up in the stands watching all this. They look miserable. They look like the ghost of Christmas future took them to their fucking funerals. They look miserable. Good. Good. Because that convention was about fucking Americans. It was about the fucking American spirit. It wasn't about Republican bullshit. Okay, it wasn't about conservatism. It wasn't about some fucking, we didn't have a prayer given by some evangelical where he fucking whined about abortion. And it wasn't a whole bunch of people talking about how bloodthirsty they are to nuke Iran for Israel. This was not Republicans. This was something else. Something way better. This was America again. Chad says, why isn't the Bulbasaur holding a copy of Isom, his favorite comic? I'd rather... Isom's in the fireplace, keeping us warm. Like, I'm sorry, you can call me a mark if you want to use a wrestling term, but that little speech from Hulk Hogan was fucking awesome. Well, it wasn't substantive, polished. No, there was a spirit to it that was fucking awesome. That convention fucking ruled. It just ruled. And look, I ain't happy that we've gone down again. Black pill time there. I ain't happy that we've gone down. Let's just do what the left did. Cool. That's awesome. Fantastic. You know, I ain't even greatly thrilled with JD Vance. It's funny, everything I hear about JD Vance from people that hate him makes me like him. And everything I hear about JD Vance from his fans makes me not like him. So I'm a little on the fence on that guy. But whatever. If nothing else, it's nice to see a millennial in the office instead of yet another aging boomer. Kept alive only because hell keeps spitting him back out. What? I definitely saw a momentum shift to an energy shift to Trump. In this past week that felt like the energy shift I from the primary. Back in 2016. Like, look, there's still pizza boxes on windows, and that's a huge, huge deal. Don't forget that. But I'm pretty fucking convinced he's winning this time. I don't even think they're getting rid of Biden. For a couple reasons. Number one, I mean, the people behind Biden, because Biden's basically dead and held up with strings like fucking Weekend at Bernie's. But the people behind him don't want to give up their seat. And more to the point, I mean, would you want to jump in now? Like, if you're Newsom or one of them other people they're talking about, would you want to jump in now or would you want to wait? You know, like, just let Biden take the L. Why not? So yeah, I don't know. I'm very happy with how the convention went. I'm not quite so happy with the right's sudden embrace of cancel culture. So that's about where I am this week. Wolfland says if pizza boxes were enough, they wouldn't be trying to force Biden out. I don't know, man. Look, I don't think that they have enough pizza boxes on windows this time. I don't think they do. But it is not something I think anyone on this side should underestimate. Yeah, I really don't think. I really don't think that you should underestimate that shit. But hey, Sheila Jackson died, and that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. Because, you know, you're allowed to wish people dead. You're allowed to. That's perfectly fine. Let's see. I know John Steele wanted to call in, so we'll bring him on. If anybody else wants to, let me know on the Skypes there. Let's see. So it says, Bechtloff, remember when you were saying that Spoonie wouldn't want to line razor fist against the wall, so he shouldn't offend him? Yeah, me too. Yeah, but here's the deal. I'm not defending Linda. I just said it's funny. And if I was talking to Linda from Home Depot, I would say, how's it taste, motherfucker? I don't have sympathy for Linda. What I have is a consistent belief that harassing someone at their job because they hurt your feelings on the internet is gay, and it's fucking wrong. And it's wrong regardless of who's doing it. By the way, Spoonie, Razor Fist wasn't taking some principled defense on Spoonie. Like, I don't think. No, Razor Fist was sucking Spoonie's dick. Okay? Razor Fist was on Twitter saying, I'm sorry things are so bad for you. You could stay at my place if you want and fuck me in the butt. That last few words were implied. But the rest of it was said. And that's fucking gay. I didn't reach out to the Home Depot lady and say, I'm sorry this happened to you. How can I help? I just took a principled stance that is wrong. I understand that's a little difficult for a lot of motherfuckers to grasp. So he says, I give Republicans credit for finally growing a brain and getting rid of the old warhawk authoritarian neocons, getting one step closer to reforming our national sovereignty against other things. Yeah, I liked this Republican convention. This Republican convention, and look, I know Matt Walsh was mad. Oh, there's a porno thought in there. Kid Rock and Hulk Hogan are trashy. And it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. You fucking fag. Your pompous moral fagging doesn't win elections. Not anymore. People want to have fun. All right? And I want a Republican Party that isn't fucking running their mouth about abortion all the fucking time and instead maybe trying to get the fucking grocery bill and gas bill down a bit. And yeah, secure the fucking border. How about instead of securing Israel and Ukraine's border, we secure ours? How about that? We could do that. That would be cool.
Have you heard of Jesus?
$20 has tipped $20. And said, hello, I am a $20 super chat with sentience and consciousness that modern science is just beginning to understand. Well, that is quite possibly frightening. But thank you very much for the $20 super chat. $20 super chat. So he says that Democrats should come back in 4 years with a Kennedy Tulsi ticket. Just write this one off. I mean, look, if I was Gavin Newsom, if I was any Democrat that was like, do you want to replace Joe Biden? I'd be like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Let Joe Biden go take the L. Because again, maybe if you have somebody else, maybe if you have a Newsom or something like that, maybe then you could steal it.
Jesus?
Maybe then, pizza boxes on windows will be enough. So he says, Spoonie and Todd. Who's Todd? But Spoonie and Todd will outlive Lord Cat. Ironic. I mean, probably. I believe Lord Cat has signed up for the 41st Brigade, so I don't think his time on this earth is very long. Todd in the Shadows? Are you talking about Todd in the Shadows? Man, there's somebody I haven't thought of in ages. I used to like his videos, too. You don't get many people that, like, review just basic songs on the radio, just whatever is fucking in the top 40. Usually somebody just has their niche. They review metal or rap or whatever. But Todd in the Shadows just was reviewing whatever the fuck's on the radio, which is kind of nice. And I actually thought a lot of his music criticism was pretty insightful. I mean, he was a huge cuck and a pussy, but... So he says, I don't think the people who try to delete the mild reformer because they didn't want us choosing wrong are going to just wait 4 years. I don't know, man. See, again, I don't think the Democrat establishment wants to wait. But again, just the actual candidates. Like, do you want to be Newsom right now and just lose against Trump? Or even risk losing against Trump? If I'm Newsom, I got to think maybe I got a better chance against Vance in 4 years. Maybe. Like, Newsom's young. He's charismatic. He's popular, at least with his fucking group. So, yeah, if I were him, I wouldn't do it. I don't know. But then again, I'm not some closet case running California into the ground who probably molested kids on Epstein Island. So it is a little hard for me to get myself in his head. You know? I didn't know Razorfist was gay. I don't believe Razorfist is gay. I think we were just mocking him a little bit. And look, I don't hate Razorfist. I know I've been hard on him lately because I don't think he's going down the best path, but I don't hate the guy. I don't really have anything against him per se, but just, you know, kind of think he's been acting a little gay lately. It's all. Kind of think he's sold out a bit, if you get right down to it. Like, everything about his shtick now just makes me feel like he wants to be, like, the edgy guy on a Fox News panel show. You know, like Gutfield has, like, one ex-wrestler or one biker-looking dude on his fucking panel, but that hard-looking dude just says all the same shit all the rest of them say. So it says you can pull a lever at any time and stop the madness, but then the island tapes will be published. Here's the deal. Here's one thing I'm hopeful with Trump. And is it going to be true? I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm going to vote for Trump because I want the taxes to get lowered. And I want the inflation to slow down a bit. You know, I want to be able to go to the grocery store and the gas pump without getting raped again. At the end of the day, I just be happy for that. Because, you know, even at our current rate, I'm probably going to be dead before things get too fucking bad. Yeah. I'm at the midlife crisis point, guys. I'm growing my hair long right now because that's cheaper than a sports car. So I don't have it. I'm not like you fucking Zoomers. You got way more time. But part of me hopes against hope, that maybe getting pushed through a sham trial, maybe getting your fucking ear blown off by the CIA as they frame some shitty leftist, maybe that's enough that you're going to go in guns blazing. Maybe you're going to do this time what you should have done last time. Maybe you're going to break their fucking toys. Maybe you're going to try and shut down the CIA. Maybe you're going to publish Epstein's client list. Maybe you're going to get to the fucking bottom of who killed him. That happened on your watch, Trump, too, by the way. Why did that happen on your watch? Why did you allow that on your watch? I'm not even accusing you of malicious intent in that. I'm accusing you of being a boomer with his head up his ass. Maybe you pulled your head up your ass now. I don't know, man. They were giving that prayer at the RNC, and, you know, all the leftists said you were sleeping, but it was during a prayer. It looked like you were actually praying. So maybe. I think we got divine intervention. I think the fact that Trump turned his head half a second before a bullet put his brains on the wall is divine intervention. Now, is that divine intervention just buying us time? Because, you know, God gives you rope, and you can either climb out of the pit with it or hang yourself with it. More often than not, we choose hang ourselves. So I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. But hey, you know what? If God just bought us 4 more years of lower taxes and cheaper grocery bills, even that's more mercy than we deserve. So, we'll see. I don't know what else to say, but we'll see. This week I've seen a lot of things this week to give me hope, and I've seen a lot of things this week that dash that hope back on the rocks. So I don't know, man. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and take some callers, and we're going to start with John Steele because he wanted to be on. He messaged me to be on before the music even stopped. He wanted to be on, so we'll see what John Steele has to say. And anyone else, you know what? We'll even hop into Discord and shit. if anybody else wants to hop into the Discord. Let's see. Yeah, I might even hop into voice chat in the Discord then. But let's go ahead and give John Steele a call here. On the Skypes. It's what Christopher Cantwell used to use. What's up, John? What's on your mind?
Oh, not much. Your shows have just been so boring lately. I thought I could just come on and help out.
Well, gotta get them super chats in.
And second of all, I mean, what the fuck are you worried about taxes from? And you hardly work anyway. So, I mean, come on, how much are you really paying in taxes?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Everybody's like I don't have to pay much in tax, at least not at the federal level. But the thing is, like, trust me, when the guys above you pay higher taxes, you get fucked. Okay, shit rolls downhill. You know, everybody above you that pays higher taxes, they find some way to pass that right the fuck onto you. You know, so in general, I want the taxes lowered.
It's they're gonna fuck you anyway. I mean, you know.
I'm not necessarily like for billionaires, but just in general, like, you know, I'd like the small businesses to be doing a little better. You know, I'd like the, yeah, just in general, I want the fucking taxes lowered. You know.
Yeah, I mean, my thing about higher, I mean, I think I'm in a higher bracket.
But I especially want the inflation reined in. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, but there's the thing about that is the only way to do that is to have a recession. That's the only way you're going to have rein in inflation. So that's just economics 101. So that's
I think what we need
like
to do is have the Joker burn that big pile of money. I think that'd help.
Yeah, that would help.
They call him a villain, but he was the only one trying to stop inflation.
That's right. That's right. But what was I going to say? A couple things. I wasn't joking when I said Harris-Obama ticket. There's nothing in the 22nd Amendment that would prevent Barack Obama running as vice president.
I don't know, because, you know, in all fairness, I'm a little misinformed, because for the longest time I thought that the 22nd Amendment was about consecutive terms. So I thought that, like,
I just think it says you can't be elected twice. That's the whole point. I mean, it says nothing about assuming, you know, like Harris bowing out after she becomes president.
I wouldn't be surprised if they try to push Big Mike, though.
Gerald Ford wasn't elected. Neither was his VP, Rockefeller. So,
have you heard of Jesus?
This could totally happen. And that would totally change everything around. Because if Barack Obama were to run as the VP, that would totally re-energize the Democrats, right? And it would be like historic a moment. Because other than that, I mean, you're right. Like Gavin Newsom and all these people, they're not going to blow whatever political capital they have by, you know, running against Trump right now. Maybe they would have been all for it, you know, if a week ago, but not now.
Obama might be able to, because yeah, I've talked to people at work and all, and like, you know, a lot of guys that don't know politics, but it's like, look, a lot of people judge a president by how well they were doing at the time. That's just, you know, that's what bit Trump in the ass, is that we were doing really good until 2020. And, you know, a lot of that wasn't his fault, but it was still on his watch. And that's how people, you know, a lot of people were like, hey, man, I got locked in my house over a cold, and, you know, and everybody burning it. Like, if people don't feel good about where things are and you're the president, you're going to pay the price, generally speaking. And if they feel good about where things are, I mean,
you reap the benefits. Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Clinton reaped the benefits of some, you know, of some policies he really had nothing to do with. You know, things weren't great under Obama. You know, they had that recession early on, but they were certainly better than, like, say, now. I think a lot of people look back and go, well, that was way better than now. Yes. So I do think, I even think putting Big Mike in there would possibly fucking...
No, I don't think so. She's not. See, Obama is seen as being... at least I was talking to other people about this, and they were saying that, unlike... Obama was seen as kind of the safe black man. You know, like, oh, he's so nice and well-spoken, you know. You know, the kind of the Dave Chappelle joke about him, you know, and such a good athlete. He was kind of considered the safe black guy, where she kind of comes off as like this I hate whitey type of black woman, you know, angry black woman type thing.
Real
my
quick,
opinion.
anonymous for $5 says it's been a few weeks, and Illustrator in the chat saying that was me, by the way. So I guess that was Illustrator. Sometimes I guess if you mess up the super chat, it just goes to anonymous.
Oh, okay. I don't know what you meant.
Sometimes I put anonymous when I'm super chatting people.
Yes.
Just to see if they'll catch it when they read it, or if they just read it anonymous. Because some people when they read, they're just sort of skim over a word.
Yeah, I put any mouse, but same difference. But what was I gonna say? Also, there's another thing that I saw a really good interview with a guy named Jim Rickards. I don't know if you know who he is, but you can Google him.
I think I've heard the name. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an economist, but he's also very politically active, and he's on the right side. And he was the guy that explained how there could be a Harris-Obama ticket, and the legalities of it. And he also talked about the quote unquote the swamp. He goes, if you want to know who the swamp is, he goes, just look at the Plum Book. I mean, you can just Google it, the Plum Book. It's literally, you can download it from like the U.S. government. They publish it, and it's literally like a phone book of all the deep state, basically, and that's who you'd really want to go after. And Trump didn't do that in his first term, and all those people, that's who the real deep state. So if you replaced everybody in there, that would do immeasurable harm to the deep state.
I said before he got elected before he got in office first time, I'm like, first thing you need to do if you're serious about this is every single person that serves at the pleasure of the president, you tell them thank you for your service, goodbye.
Yes.
And you will maybe be replaced by no one, but you're all getting replaced.
Yes.
And I mean that goes to the janitor and the cook, at the White House. I mean everybody.
Well, they don't serve at the pleasure of the president.
But as an example, like everybody.
Yeah.
Every single last man, woman, and child. Child. I don't know if you could fire the slaves over at Epstein Island, but every single last person.
Well, they got different labor laws on that island, so I think they're allowed to.
You just let them go, and then you just see the CIA guy go. I'm not worried. They're tagged.
Yeah, right. They got the little implant, but what was I going to say? Yeah, so I think that's what will happen. I shouldn't say that's what will happen but I just don't see a way out of it for the Democrats. Now the question is look, Biden's not going to run because if Biden literally runs and he's in the same condition, I mean, he's not. Let's be honest, you don't get better from this condition.
No, he couldn't survive. He will not survive on the off chance he were elected president. Or I should say the pizza boxes elected him president somehow, that he would not survive another 4 years. I'm frankly amazed he survived this long. There's only so much the baby adrenaline can do.
I don't think he'll survive to January. I mean, that's a legitimate concern. I mean, he seems to be just really going down really fast. I mean, he does, and he's showing these like, first it was just the like the gaffes and the forgetfulness and stuff like that, which got progressively worse, and they were kind of funny in a way. But now he's starting to have those facial freezes where he doesn't blink, and like it looks like he's got some people are saying Parkinson's. I don't know if that's true because I don't see any tremors or anything, but it seems like his nervous system is not working.
When Trump's talking, he's just standing there staring blankly with his mouth open, and it just looked like in a zombie movie when somebody got bit, and it's that moment right before they just go into like any minute now he's gonna lunge at like the reporter and try to bite him.
Right before they turn.
Yeah, right as they're about to just suddenly they're hungry. Like just staring blankly. Like I'm amazed a fly didn't land right on his eyeball or something.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if you saw the interview he had with, I think it was Lester Holt, and he literally there's a scene where part of his face starts to make expression, but his from the nose up doesn't, it freezes and he doesn't blink, and it was kind of eerie in a way because it doesn't look human. It looks like something like a mannequin would do.
Yeah, he looks dead. He looks.
Yeah.
If he weren't such a piece of shit, I would feel sorry for him.
Well, I can't feel sorry for that man.
That's what I mean. But virtually any other person being paraded around in this state, I would be like, oh, come on. But other people didn't rape their daughters, so.
Yeah, and not just that, but his entire political career. Like, he's always been such a evil hack that would say and do anything. He's a man without any sort of principles, as far as I can tell. He's all about himself. He's a crook. He's always been a crook.
At one
he's a
point in his
liar,
life,
he's a
he wished to be
plagiarist.
president on a monkey's paw, and it's finally come true.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's not there enough to even know he's president.
Yeah. It's kind of like I was like a Twilight Zone episode where the guy wanted to be like ruler of the world, and then they make him like Hitler in his bunker during the last days. But so that's kind of how. Yeah. So, but the thing is, though, the thing is what they're concerned about is I think the Democrats have resigned themselves that they're likely not going to win the presidency because Trump is on a real roll right now, and there's no one that's Obama won't let go, and even if he does let go, so much time has passed that they're like if it's an open convention, it's going to be chaos. So. Because everybody's going to be, in there. I mean, the only person I think that could beat Trump would be Kennedy, and I don't even know if I'd have a problem with that, to be honest with you. I mean,
You ever see that scene in the one Pirates of the Caribbean movie where all the pirates are voting on like who's the pirate king, and just everybody votes for themselves? I saw somebody on Twitter share that, and it was like, "This is the Democrat convention in a few weeks."
Well, yeah, I mean, because they are, because let's be honest, they're politicians, but especially the Democrats, are extremely narcissistic, self-absorbed, solipsistic fucking psychopaths. So that is true, because they all see themselves as they always see themselves as the most important person in the room. And but it's going to be a nightmare. But the thing is, what they're really worried about is a down ticket. They're worried about losing, 5 Senate seats, or maybe even 6, I think. Or losing like 30, I think they're like 34 congressional seats are in jeopardy. Something like that. I forget what it is, 30 something.
Well, I mean, every year it's, every 2 years it's all of the House and a third of the Senate. So there's always the possibility of losing seats. And I definitely don't think the momentum's on their side right now.
Right. So that's what they're afraid of. So even the money that they have is going to support, because the DNC decides which candidates they're going to support, right? Like that's how it works. Like if you're in a race that they don't think you can win, you're not going to get any of the money. So I think that they'll put all their money behind all their down ballots that are running, and they'll just kind of have to surrender the presidency if it's Biden, because I mean, what if there's another debate, for God's sake?
Well, there is supposed to be a VP debate.
Yeah,
with Vance and the cackling hen.
Yeah, but normally VP debates don't mean anything, but maybe this one actually would.
They don't, but I don't know. This is enough of a spectacle of a race that I think a lot of people are going to be tuning in more than normal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more than normal, because normally people don't. Yeah, you're right. I mean,
normally who cares? It's like,
right. But you're right. This one people might tune. Plus, a lot of people don't know about JD Vance, so a lot of people are just going to because everybody knows about cackling Kamala, But JD Vance, people might just tune in and say, like, what is this guy really all about? Like, we've seen him get fluffed up by the RNC when he got chosen as the running mate, but we don't know. A lot of people don't know like who he is. I mean, I've just really been learning about him this past week.
I've seen some stuff I like, some stuff I don't. I'm pretty much like, all right, this is fine, I guess.
Yeah, and look, you're never going to get everything you want. I mean, unless they elected you president, right? So,
and even then, probably not.
Put a little Bulbasaur on the desk in the Oval Office, and right next to some Captain Morgan.
Because the moment they send in some hot redhead lobbyists, I fold.
Yeah, that's how they'd be doing the work on you. Like, how do we influence Bechtloff? Is it just all fucking redheads and shit?
Yeah, it's like, why do you give all this money to Israel and out and out of the Oval Office walks some big titty Jewish lady, and it's like, oh, God damn it, Chris.
Give them everything. Give them the launch codes. I don't care.
Nuke the Palestinians. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing too, like about the Israel-Palestinian thing. I don't give a shit about it, to be honest with you. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't like to see like kids get blown up, and I have seen some. I don't know if you have, but I've seen some.
Well,
Really horrific
the way I always say, I like to say it this way: if I had to choose a side, I would probably side with the Palestinians because fuck Israel. But thankfully, I don't have to choose a side because fuck the Palestinians.
Mm.
That's my position.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the way a lot of people feel.
And you
they-
know,
they don't.
that's the other thing. This is why I like this convention a lot. And look, they didn't flat out say, like, no money for Israel, because they can't yet. But there was definitely this vibe of, like, maybe America's wall first. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, we'll
even
take
at
care
that
of ours
convention.
too
And there was flat out,
first.
like, no money for Ukraine vibe. But there was also just a bunch of statements I kept hearing, like, we're tired of giving money to foreign countries, just in general. And, like, America's needs first. And all this other shit that, again, you look at a Republican convention from any other fucking time, and what do you get? Abortion, and we don't like faggots, and maybe we'll lower taxes, and also lots of stuff for Israel. And it's like, cool, this all kind of, I either don't care about or it sucks. And this one, it's like, we want the American spirit back. Hulk Hogan's ripping open his shirt. We're having some fun. And that's the other thing that struck me. And this matters. This matters more than I think a lot of politics junkies really realize. The Republican convention was fun. People were having fun. You could say Hulk Hogan ripping his shirt open is stupid. And it is. But people like it. And they've liked it since the fucking 80s. And they still like it. And it's fun. And people want to have fun. And that's a huge factor. Like, people want a vibe that's nice. People want a spirit of thing that's nice. Like, there is, you know, politicians, yeah, they make policy and all that other shit, but they're also figureheads. And that does matter. You know, and who do you want as your figurehead? Do you want the goofy, fun billionaire who seems to actually like this country? Or do you want the literal walking corpse? Like, that raped his daughter. You know, that kind of shit does matter. I mean, it's a big reason why Obama won. Because, yeah, he was very well spoken and athletic. He seemed like the cool black guy. And it was certainly better than that little troll John McCain. Like, that shit matters. Maybe it shouldn't, but it does.
Yeah, I agree.
You know? I
No,
remember...
who's going to be so who are they going to run? Like assuming it's not Biden.
If it's not Biden, my guess, honestly, is they just throw Kamala on the grenade.
Yeah.
Because I really do think they're kind of like, this is just let Giggles take the L.
Well, yeah, it's not like it's not like she'd have a career anyway, right? Like if Biden were to run and lose, she'd be dead anyway. So she has nothing to. I mean, not dead, but you know what I mean. Like politically, no one likes her, and basically she's already reached the pinnacle of her political career. You know, now she's just going to go after she loses this election. She's going to go off into the private sector and, you know, probably make tens of millions of dollars by lecturing about how, you know, strong, empowered black women, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, she'll get book deals for $5 million for books that sell 5 copies.
Yes. And, you know, she'll go into some sort of speaking gig and, you know, rally about the evils of the white man or something. But
Well, she's fucking a white man.
well, she's fucking, yeah. Well, actually, I think she just sucks, but, you know, whatever.
You know, a lot of these brown bitches that, you know, they're all about, you know, empowerment in the streets, but they're colonized in the sheets, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Camilla is, apparently her oral skills are legendary. So, you know.
It should be. It's the only thing apparently she does well.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, another thing about Camilla is like, I mean, I actually think that Biden would get more votes than Kamala Harris. I really believe that.
Maybe. I don't know if I agree with that, but I'm not going to argue with it too much. It's not something I'd bet against.
No, she's not liked. There's a lot of people that just would, you know, and people just kind of see her as, and I think women hate her. So,
I think everybody
ironically,
fucking
because she's
hates
such a whore. So, there's a lot of women that just don't like her, and you know, I mean, so I just don't see her as a real threat. I mean, maybe they're just going to say because, you know, Biden can't run because he's brain dead. So they just put her
Well,
in
they
because,
supposedly diagnosed him with COVID a couple days ago.
yeah, but that's
Which, by the way, if he actually has COVID and he survives it, that is proof right now that it's bullshit. Because, good God,
yeah.
Biden
He's
looks
been
like
boosted
turning the
15
AC on
times.
too quickly would kill him.
Yeah, I don't even believe he has COVID personally.
Probably
I think this
not.
is just a way, just for him to, an excuse for him to go to, where is he at now, recuperating, and he's not at the White House, so it's a way for him to get away from the White House.
He's on whatever replaced Epstein's Island.
Yeah, so
Whatever place we haven't heard of yet that replaced Epstein's Island.
yeah, that's how he's recuperating with, like, young girls, hopefully girls, but gross either way. That they're just giving him unlimited kids to sniff.
I mean, I was going to say, at this point, is he even there enough to tell the difference?
That's true. Well, I heard, yeah, there was something where he mistook another woman for his wife at some speaking event not too long ago. But yeah. Anyway, it's a joke. It's a dumpster fire. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be interesting that, because if he's going to step down, it's got to be soon. So the clock is ticking.
I thought it was. Look, I was commenting on it at the time when we were having the debate, and I'm like, neither one of these guys, at the time at least, is officially their party's nominee. I don't know that we've ever had a debate before we've had conventions or something. Like, neither one of them was the nominee. You know what I mean? They hadn't had convention. And let's be real, even with Trump, there were the legal issues and all. There was all sorts of, especially prior to, the assassination attempt, there was a lot of forces in the Republican Party that were like, maybe we can't go with a convicted felon, all that other gay shit. So you never know if stuff would get stolen from him in the convention. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I'm like, yeah, both of these men are the presumptive nominees at that point, but, that and $2 will buy you a soda,
$2.50 now, but anyway.
Yeah, really. But
yeah,
and I honestly think part of that might have been like, maybe they were testing the water on getting rid of Biden. I don't know. But I just think
I did think it was odd the way that everybody came, because I remember having this conversation with someone online about why is all the leftists freaking out now about Biden's cognitive abilities. He wasn't any worse then than he was like the week before whenever he spoke. So why are they acting like this was such a a shocker to him? I mean, the guy has not, I mean, this was the case for him, for years now. He's had all these gaffes, and he can't remember who he's.
I think it just got. I guess it just got to a point where they couldn't run cover anymore. Like, it was like, look, he didn't do great in 2020. There were plenty. If you were paying attention, you could tell he was losing his fucking shit. If you were remotely fucking honest with yourself and paying attention. But this one got to a point where nobody could deny it. I mean, it was like, I didn't watch it live. I was at work, working second shift. But like, I'm on my break and I'm scrolling and I'm looking at these memes on Twitter and I'm like, oh, good God. I'm seeing little clips and stuff and I'm like, I got to check this out when I get home. Like, this is apparently some damn good television. And like, yeah, you could not hide it with him. Like,
No, I agree, but I think there was other times where that was true as well. Where, I mean, all the he couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, and he had made so many gaffes, and so many times he couldn't remember things.
I think there was probably.
I mean, just like look. I'm sorry, but the when he was at the D-Day remembrance, and he turned around and started looking the other way, and I mean, there was all sorts of weird things that he had been doing.
I think there was probably a plan of, let's put Biden out there before the convention. If he shits the bed, we throw him under the bus, and we replace him with somebody else. But I think once I think that once that bullet zipped by Trump's head and didn't go in, I think suddenly they were like, okay, never mind. I think a lot of them, not all of them, I mean, but I think a lot of them were like, never mind, we're fucked now, we're done, it's over. There are certain moments where all but the most desperate are like, we lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's just certain moments where you can tell, okay, it's done. Like,
Well, yeah, that's why I think their strategy will probably be. I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll pull a rabbit out of their ass. But I think what they're, an interesting that happened was in 1980 when Ronald Reagan beat Jimmy Carter, was that a lot of people split their vote. So, you heard the expression the Reagan Democrats. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so there was a lot of people that voted for Reagan, but they, but like the senators and congressmen, they voted Democrat. You know what I mean? Because normally people just vote a party.
There'll
You like,
probably be a lot of that for Trump.
mm,
I imagine there's going to be like, look, I know there's a lot of conservatives that dream we're going to definitely take the black vote, and it's like, no, you're not. But like, you're going to take more of it than you were. You know what I mean?
well, you're
And
going to take, well, the black men, I mean,
you're going to take a lot more Hispanic than you ever have. I imagine you're going to take
yeah.
probably a lot more blacks, particularly the men, but really just you're going to take a lot more of virtually every group, save for maybe white women, than than you would have otherwise. Like,
Oh, the affluent white female, what do they call the awfuls, right?
yeah,
Affluent white female liberals.
trust me, they're even more staunch Democrats than black women.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Those are the people that I hate. I can't stand those people.
But yeah, you're going to take a lot more of every group across the board, um, than you would have otherwise. I mean, black people used to love Trump. Before all of a sudden 9 years ago they were told they're not allowed to anymore, and a few of them are starting to remember why they used to. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
this guy's cool.
yeah, and also a lot of the black community is not too hip and cool with all these South Americans coming up to the, in the country.
No,
So,
they're not, and they're not all that hip and cool with cutting their kids' dicks off either.
right, yeah,
You know,
yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, that's some wacky
they're
shit.
not they're not thrilled with that either.
Yeah, I think most people. Well, there's the other thing too. Like the Democrats. I mean, I look at it this way: if Trump loses, it's over for this country because because the Supreme Court, because they'll just take it. And then what will happen is Democrat or leftists, I should just more properly do what they always do. They start to eat their own, and basically the country will just collapse under its own weight.
I
So
imagine
this is
if I would imagine the death of this country is a bunch of sections of it breaking off, for better or worse. People say like
yeah.
civil war, but I think like even if it's not officially breaking off, it'll be like a federal government that's so weakened that a lot. And I mean, you're seeing a little bit of this already. You're seeing states go in vastly different directions, in ways that I haven't seen in my lifetime. And you might just see, for better or worse, and probably mostly better, a weakened federal government and states doing their own thing, to an extent we haven't seen probably since the very early days of this country.
Perhaps. I don't know if that'll be as easy to accomplish as it once was, because I don't know. The federal government, the Democrats just seem ruthless. I think it would that they'll impose their will to the utmost until they can't. So they'll
Yeah, but I
literally.
don't think they're as good at that anymore. You know what really got me, like when Biden got in there, and it was the Biden's administration's goal that, goddamn it, we were all going to take the fucking vax, and he was able to push it on the fucking federal bureaucrats. He was able to push it on a lot of the military, although a lot of them even fucking resigned. Like, I'll take a dishonorable discharge, fuck you. But the rest of the country kind of just looked at him and said, fuck you.
No, but it was because of Supreme Court decision. And once they get to Supreme Court, everything goes out the window. I mean, real legislature is actually made in the judiciary, not the legislative branch. Most people don't realize that, but it's really true. So once you pack the federal courts, which is exactly what the Democrats will have done under Biden, and which they would continue to do under another Democrat administration. And then once you got to Supreme Court, the law is whatever they say it is. I mean, there's no one else to appeal to other than, after that, at least in this earthly domain.
Well, the law is whatever a judge says it is, and it's
Yes.
also whatever a cop is willing to stick a gun in your face for. So
Yes.
having some cops that are either unwilling or afraid to do things goes a long way. In
Yeah,
that
but look
2020
at
thing
but
here in
but
here in
that's the whole
PA.
thing.
They shut
look
down everything again at Christmas. They did the shutdown bullshit again at Christmas. Almost every local business ignored it. And I know of not one case of a cop enforcing it in this whole state that I'm aware of. Maybe somewhere in the bluest parts of Philly or in Pittsburgh, maybe. But I had not heard of one case. Certainly not in my area. The chains, the corporations, sure, but every local business was like, because I always go to that Christmas Eve dinner with my buddies and my dad, and I called them up when that order came, and I'm like, "Are you guys still open Christmas Eve?" And the Chinaman like, "Yeah, why we not be?" I'm like, "All right, cool, see you then."
Okay. Well, no,
table,
I mean that's
table for
that's good
10,
to hear.
7 o'clock.
But I just why we not be? I maybe they didn't get the memo or they couldn't read it.
I think they just got the memo and and
Tore it
promptly
up.
said, "Yeah, just pulled out a lighter." Like, "Oh, I know, read it in time." It go burn.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at the way that they've been hiring people that work for the FBI and the ATF. I mean, there's countless videos coming along where, FBI and ATF agents knocking at your door. They're all leftist motherfuckers, and they've all been recruiting them like crazy. I mean,
Well,
look at the Secret Service. Their agenda is by what is it, the 30-30 program? By the year 2030, 30% of all agents are supposed to be female.
well, here's the thing. Even right wing cops, let's be real, are usually bootlickers, and will usually do what they're told. They have they have more of a limit than the leftists, but it's just kind of the nature of I like my order and hierarchy, But also, the leftist ones, they frighten easily. Now, yeah, like the Sand people, they will come back in greater numbers, so you do have to fortify, but they do frighten easily.
Yeah, it depends. See, like one of the reasons why you didn't see a lot of Antifa type activity in what was it, Milwaukee, where they had the RNC, was because there was Trump. Just got someone just tried to kill him. A few days before, so he had a mandate where the people were like the government. We're not going to allow any funny business. Like they were out there in force, like not letting. I mean, they were allowed to march, but they had to totally stay in their lane. There was no burning down buildings or any shit like that because they knew that if they tried that shit, they were going to get shot.
So you mean protesters had to just protest?
Yeah, but when was the last time protesters just protested?
I love
This
that.
is the first time, especially Trump. I mean, every time they protest Trump, I mean, you got to burn down at least one federal building, right? Or shoot somebody. I mean, they literally shot someone on the streets of Portland, for fuck's sake.
Well, that's the thing. The Antifa they don't often get to the federal buildings. They just burn down the CVS. I noticed a lot of times when Black Lives Matter would get too close to a governor's mansion or maybe too close to a big bank building or something like that, and suddenly they got shut down. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, well, I think they burnt down a federal building in Portland, but
It might have, but like generally speaking, I noticed a lot of times where they started to wander too close to where they weren't supposed to be, and all of a sudden, the cops found their nuts.
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess because a lot of the protesting, like the really big protesting, is done by the useful idiots, right? Who are just the looters, right? There's people in there that don't have any political ideology at all. They're just like, I want my free shit. They go in there and
One of my favorite pictures from all those like George Floyd riots, all these guys looting the Targets, right? So all these black guys, they got like TVs or shoes, whatever the fuck, There was this one white kid coming out with one of them big ass Lego sets. And those things are expensive. Those things are pricey. They're precision made little pieces and stuff. Legos are expensive ass toys. And this guy got this probably was like $300-400 a big Lego set. One of the adult, collector ones and all. But he's like, he knew what he wanted.
That's pretty funny. They probably sold that on eBay like for a fortune. Like if he was smart, he waited a year.
He grabbed two. He
grabbed two.
One, he sold one.
yeah, one for him and one they sell on eBay. But yeah, I mean, there's, I mean, I think that people can't become complacent. People, if you want Trump to win, you got to get out there and vote. You got to make sure everybody else does too. And if you're, someone that I mean, I'm not someone who votes. I don't believe in it. But I mean, those who do really need to get out there. And if you want him to win, you also got to make sure there's none of the pizza boxes on the windows.
That's what I was saying. Look, in a fair election, Trump would win. But in a fair election, Trump won last time. All right, just kind of narrowly, but he did. And in a fair election, he, you know, I mean, you're not going to see Reagan Mondale shit because the country's not 80% white anymore, but you're going to see about as close to that as you can get. You know what I mean? You're gonna see even the blue states are gonna be tighter than they would have been. You know what I mean? And but that's not what we have. Okay, we have pizza boxes on windows, and you have to remember pizza boxes on windows. And I've been saying for 4 years now that the right is not, is ignoring the problem. Like the Russian mobster in Dark Knight, you have to deal with real problem, and they're not. And that's a big deal. And I think right now you have enough momentum, because I haven't seen this. This is possibly more momentum than 2016, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this kind of momentum behind a political candidate before. And it's probably enough to overcome pizza boxes on windows.
Yeah, but I still don't think. I think if you tolerate the pizza boxes on windows, I mean, you got to break the glass. I mean, come on. I mean,
you have to. That's the other thing. You got to get down and vote, because it has to be. There's only so far you could steal it. Okay. There's only so many imaginary votes at 3 a.m. they can pull out of their ass. You have to. You have to do that. You have to get out there and vote. You have to encourage people to vote. You have to encourage people to not be complacent, and to keep pushing this. And I personally hope that the Republican Party keeps up this momentum. I hope they keep up this fun energy of, Hulk Hogan ripping his shirt open. That's a perfect analogy for it, because that's bringing back an Americana that people are nostalgic for, and that goes a long way.
yeah, and I hope, and Trump hopefully will continue to do, those big outdoor rallies. I mean, I don't know, like with the Secret Service, what's going to happen with that. I don't know if you've talked about that already. Like, why hasn't that bitch been fired? I do not understand that. Or have some self-respect and resign.
Well, look, I mean, you got to remember. Look, that roof was really sloped. You couldn't just send an agent up there. All right. I was joking with my buddy. I was like, I think I have a solution for that. Like, John, pretend you're a Secret Service agent and I'm your boss, right? Hey, John, I need you to go up on that roof. Oh, and watch your step. It's kind of sloped.
I'm like, oh,
There's your solution. Hey, be careful up there. It's a little sloped. I think we're good then. I think that handles it.
Yeah. So I mean, there's all sorts of crazy shit that's coming out about, conspiracy stuff, and maybe that's true. I don't know. I mean, who knows? But
well, look, I think there's probably, I wouldn't be surprised if the guy that supposedly shot him maybe wasn't really the guy that shot him. You never know with that kind of shit. I wouldn't be surprised if this was another attempt at a JFK thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was just as simple as.
We still don't even know the truth about JFK, right?
I mean,
that was before
I feel
any
like
of
we
this
kind of
a lot.
But
yeah, I mean, we know. Well, I mean, yeah, but there's still a lot that's still. I mean, it's still. Why is it? Everybody's dead who was involved in it, right? So why are they still? Anyway.
Well, that's the other thing. If he gets in office, that's the other thing he needs to do. He needs to start declassifying shit. He needs to start pardoning whistleblowers. He needs to start breaking their toys.
Yeah.
Declassify everything but the launch codes. Every government whistleblower, hell, even that fucking tranny Manning, pardon them all. Even the ones that got their sentences commuted and they're not even in prison anymore. Too bad. Pardon them. Boom. You're pardoned. Pardon all of them. Snowden's a free man.
I know he's
Assange is a free man. All that shit.
Yeah. Well, isn't Assange free anyway?
He is. Yeah, they gave him a plea deal, but that's not good enough. You know what? Pardon him.
Yeah.
Full pardon. No, he didn't do nothing.
Yeah, he literally didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with that. I mean, start declassifying everything.
Yeah, you need
first he's got to make sure he's around people he can fucking trust, so they don't put everything in the fucking paper shredder. And then declassify everything. And I would
fire. I don't know. Again, whatever authority the president has, but I would fire every Secret Service agent. I would fire everyone that's around the president. I don't even trust at this point, I don't even trust the fucking cook. You better hire your own cook, all right? Yeah. If anything, that's the way. Leave the guy doing the laundry alone, maybe, but especially get rid of the cook.
Yeah, he can hire the guy from his local burger joint in New York that he likes to go to, so,
Just hire somebody that designed all the shit at McDonald's, because that's what you like, Trump.
Yeah.
Somebody just bring you the McDonald's recipes.
But yeah. Anyway, so I'll let you go. But I just wanted to say that, like, people who don't be complacent. Remember, the leftists will do anything, try anything. We've already shown that. Lawfare. Maybe even they were responsible for taking a shot at him, or they purposely were lax about his security, so to enable someone to get off a shot.
And you know what?
That hit him.
I would also say, like, I know this sounds gay, but, like, keep up that RNC energy. Be fucking positive about this shit. And I don't mean, like, everything's going to work out, but I mean, be positive about what you're promoting. Like, yeah, Biden sucks, but you don't just have to run on Biden sucks. You know what I mean? You can run on how cool we want to make things. And there's an energy to that it goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that should be... It is very hard to win running against someone. That has always been historically true. There have been plenty of unpopular presidents who get elected because the other party couldn't come up with anything other than he sucks. And that's rarely enough to get you over the finish line.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Bill Clinton was unpopular and got 2 terms. George W. Bush wasn't very popular and got 2 terms. Barack Obama wasn't very popular and got 2 terms by the end of their first term. Any one of those presidents, it should have been easy for the other party to knock him out. But what did they put up? Dole and what was it John Kerry and fucking Mitt Romney?
Well, actually,
like, these were jokes.
Well, actually, the reason Trump beat H.W. Bush, not Trump, I'm sorry, Clinton beat H.W. Bush was because Ross Perot was a spoiler.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about, like, in the second term. Like, I mean, Clinton trounced Dole.
Well, the second term, the second term he did well because the economy had turned around, but not necessarily because of anything that Clinton himself did. It was basically just a massive growth in productivity.
But there was still a lot of. There was a lot. I mean, I remember. I'm just old enough to remember, like, 1995, and there was just running gags about, like, oh, Bill Clinton's going to be a one-term president. Yeah.
Yeah, but in 1990, but the election was in 1996, wasn't it?
Yeah, so, but still,
by November of 1996, the economy was booming.
But the point is, really booming. Again, just running against somebody is not enough. It's very rarely enough.
Right.
I mean, and frankly, it wasn't enough this time. All the Democrats did last time was run against Trump. Now, they also had pizza boxes on windows. But if they hadn't had pizza boxes on windows, it wouldn't have been enough. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Maybe if Mitt Romney had or John Kerry had pizza boxes on windows, then Obama or W would have been one-term presidents. But they didn't.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is that the sad truth of it is that Democrats have a much better ground game. They're in the trenches, right? They're the ones counting the votes. It's like the quote about Stalin: "I care not who casts the votes, only about those who to paraphrase, I care only those who count them."
They were ordering them pizzas early on in the evening.
Yeah, order those pizzas, put those boxes up, and then you can just make up any story, and then anyone that denies it, you just call them
I found
denier,
6 billion Biden votes.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's all sorts of stuff that comes up, but I mean, the real thing to tell, if people are really concerned about this, especially if you're planning to be alive for more than the next 20 years, is realize that if the Supreme Court, I mean, if you have, like, Biden appoint any more of, like, what was that Jackson woman or, the radical psychopaths to the Supreme Court, all your rights are gone. I mean, that's just the truth of it.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with what Trump's Supreme Court's been doing for the most part.
Yeah, and that will all go.
Could certainly be a lot worse.
Yeah.
But you got to think,
anyway,
I mean,
Chris,
even if they don't pack the court, even if they're not like, we're going to put 47 people in there, even if they don't pull
that.
No, I
don't
mean,
that. I just mean,
because they've talked about doing that too. But
yeah, that would be a lot more difficult to do.
Even if they don't, I mean, you're looking at least a couple of them dying or retiring in the next 4 years.
Look, the only reason Clarence Thomas hasn't resigned or retired or whatever they call it, because, I mean, how old is the guy now? He's got to be ancient. Is because he's just hanging on until he's hanging on until there's a Republican in the White House. So that's that's what he's doing. And if you lose him, I mean, he's the best justice there is on the Supreme Court. And I don't know the ages of the other ones, but I mean, Biden's administration was really smart. They the Democrats were they put justices on there that were relatively young, as far as Supreme Court justices go. So that's that was the great thing about putting Kavanaugh on there. He's a young guy, I mean, as far as a Supreme Court justice would go, is young, and that's what you need. So you don't want to put these fossils on the Supreme Court that are just like one jump scare away from death.
We're gonna appoint Biden.
Yeah, point Biden.
Point Biden to the Supreme Court, because who knows? He's so crazy, he might rule in Republicans' favor.
Yeah, he wouldn't. Yeah, it was.
Didn't even know he's like. He rules to reinstate segregation.
Yeah, yes. He forgets what year it is. He thought it's 2024. I thought it was 1924. But yeah. Anyway, but that's the main thing as far as I'm concerned is the Supreme Court, because that's the only thing keeping the liberals completely in check. I mean, let's be honest. Trump would be going to prison if it wasn't for the Supreme Court.
Oh yeah.
Because they would have endlessly just the presidential immunity from everything he does. Just really quickly, because I do got to run. Remember Vindman, the whistleblower, supposed whistleblower against Trump?
Mm-hmm.
He's running for Senate or Congress or something. I literally saw an ad for him right before your show.
I'm surprised I haven't seen it, because I get ads for both parties, because you may remember on the show back in, I want to say 2018, there was a big fat black chick down in Maryland running against Steny Hoyer in the primary, and I live on the show donated $1 to her, because I was like, it'll be so funny if Steny Hoyer loses his job because Shinene Shibubu Jackson took his job. Like, that'd be hilarious. You know what I mean? Like, you lost your job to the shift manager at the St. Charles Town Center Popeyes. Like, that would be fucking hilarious. Because she was such a terrible candidate. She was talking about, like, yeah, I did jail time, and I've had abortions, and she big fat ass and shit. Like, I was
Based.
Like, yeah. I was like, fucking A, man. I want Steny Hoyer to lose his job to her so bad. Like, I was sitting there, like, she has the official Bechtloff podcast endorsement. Like, well, that was a mistake, because I was already on a Republican mailing list from donating to Ron Paul, right? Well, now I'm on both parties' mailing lists. So every contentious race in the fucking country, I got both of them texting me at all hours of the day with their hands out.
Yeah. So support people with your vote, not your money. And I think that,
for God's sakes, if you are going to donate money, make sure you click the do not contact me tab.
Yeah, really. I didn't even know they had that option.
I'm sure they do, and I just didn't know.
I doubt it. I mean, I
probably accidentally clicked the harass me for the rest of my life tab.
Well, yeah, it's like Scientologists. If you get on their list, they keep calling you, trying to get you to join. Anyway, Chris, I got to take off, man. Great talking to you.
I'm going to probably wrap this up, because I think I had a pretty good show. All right, folks, that's about it for today.